is Mount St. Helens. On May 18th in 1980, it exploded in a volcanic display never before witnessed in modern times.
Up on the west side, the whole west side, northwest side is sliced down.
Mount St. Helens has seen an increase in earthquake activity with nearly 350 quakes over the last several months.
In the heart of America's Pacific Northwest, an ancient giant stirs from its slumber. Seismometers at Mount St. Helens dance with increasing urgency, their readings sending ripples of concern through the scientific community. But beneath these surface tremors lies a more chilling possibility, one that has forced emergency officials into unprecedented action. As monitoring stations light up across state lines, a haunting question emerges. Could these geological whispers herald something far more catastrophic? For the first time in decades, all eyes turn nervously toward Yellowstone, where Earth's most powerful supervolcano sleeps fitfully beneath pristine wilderness. The connection between these two titans of nature has never been more scrutinized or more feared. The awakening Mount St. Helens recent activity. In the shadow of the Cascade Range, Mount St. Helens stirs once again, its restless heart sending tremors of concern through scientific monitoring stations across the Pacific Northwest. The iconic volcano, forever etched in American memory after its catastrophic 1980 eruption, has begun displaying a series of geological changes that have captured the attention of the United States Geological Survey and volcanic observatories worldwide. Deep beneath the mountain's scarred surface, a symphony of seismic activity has been steadily increasing. Monitoring stations positioned around the volcano have detected a significant uptick in earthquake swarms, clusters of small tremors occurring in rapid succession. While individually modest, these vibrations paint a picture of mounting pressure within the volcanic system that mirrors patterns observed in the months leading up to previous eruptions. Surface deformation measurements from the Cascades Volcano Observatory reveal an unsettling truth. The volcano's northern flank has begun to bulge outward at a rate of several centimeters per month. This dramatic reshaping of the mountain's profile bears a haunting resemblance to the deformation patterns witnessed before the catastrophic lateral blast of 1980. Though current monitoring technology allows for far more precise measurements than were possible 4 decades ago, the mountain's chemical signatures tell an equally compelling story. Monitoring stations have recorded a 3-fold increase in sulfur dioxide output over recent weeks, accompanied by elevated levels of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. These volcanic gases, often referred to as the breath of the volcano, indicate fresh magma rising closer to the surface. The United States Geological Survey's continuous monitoring network tracks these emissions 24 hours a day, providing real-time data to scientists studying the volcano's behavior. Historical patterns provide both context and cause for concern. The volcano's documented history reveals a complex rhythm of activity, with periods of relative quiet, punctuated by episodes of intense unrest. Yet the current sequence of events appears to be accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Analysis of volcanic deposits from previous eruptions suggests that once similar patterns of unrest began, eruptions followed within weeks to months. The geological changes haven't gone unnoticed by local wildlife. Reports from National Park Service rangers describe unusual animal behavior in the surrounding wilderness. Elk herds have been observed moving away from their traditional grazing grounds near the volcano's base, while several species of birds typically present in the area have become conspicuously absent, natural warning systems that have historically preceded volcanic activity. As these unprecedented developments unfold, emergency response protocols have sprung into action, mobilizing resources and expertise not seen since the mountain's last major awakening. The official response. In the heart of the Pacific Northwest, an unprecedented mobilization of scientific and emergency resources has begun. The United States Geological Survey's Cascades Volcano Observatory, typically a hub of methodical research, has transformed into a 24-hour command center. Banks of monitors display real-time seismic data, while teams of volcanologists analyze the mountain's every tremor and exhale. Within hours of detecting the alarming geological changes at Mount St. Helens, the Washington State Emergency Operations Center activated its volcanic crisis protocols. The atmosphere in the monitoring stations crackles with a tension not felt since the catastrophic eruption of 1980. Emergency response coordinators huddle over data streams, their faces illuminated by the glow of seismic readouts, that grow more concerning with each passing hour. The United States Geological Survey has rapidly escalated its monitoring efforts, deploying additional seismic stations and thermal imaging equipment around the volcano's perimeter. The memory of 57 lives lost in the 1980 eruption weighs heavily on every decision. Advanced monitoring systems, far more sophisticated than those available 4 decades ago, stream constant data to scientists working in rotating shifts. Local emergency management offices have begun implementing their volcanic hazard response plans, establishing evacuation routes and emergency shelters in surrounding communities. Schools within the potential impact zone conduct volcanic emergency drills, while hospitals review their mass casualty protocols. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network has increased its monitoring capacity, integrating data from multiple sources to create a comprehensive picture of the developing situation. The international scientific community has responded with unprecedented solidarity. The United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction has offered support, while volcanic observatories from Japan, Italy, and Iceland, countries well-versed in volcanic crisis management, have extended their expertise and resources. The Cascades Volcano Observatory has become a global hub of scientific collaboration, where data is shared and analyzed around the clock. The National Weather Service has activated its volcanic ash tracking protocols, preparing for potential atmospheric impacts. The Federal Aviation Administration stands ready to implement emergency flight restrictions, remembering how volcanic ash from the 1980 eruption caused widespread aviation disruptions across the western United States. Yet as these emergency measures unfold with military precision, a more troubling question emerges from the data. Could these geological disturbances represent the first tremors of a far more catastrophic awakening within the Yellowstone supervolcano system? The Yellowstone connection, understanding the link. In the vast geological theater of North America, 2 titans of nature command center stage, Mount St. Helens and the Yellowstone supervolcano. As seismometers record Mount St. Helens's increasing unrest, the scientific community faces a sobering question that transcends mere academic curiosity. Could these tremors ripple through Earth's crust to awaken an even greater giant? The United States Geological Survey has long studied the relationship between these geological behemoths, separated by 560 miles of complex crustal structures. The science reveals 2 fundamentally different volcanic systems: Mount St. Helens, driven by subduction forces where tectonic plates collide, and Yellowstone, powered by a massive mantle plume that has carved a path of volcanic activity across the American West for millions of years. Historical data from the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory provides critical context. While volcanic triggering has been documented in regions like Iceland, where systems share direct geological connections, the vast distance and distinct geological mechanisms separating Mount St. Helens and Yellowstone present a more complex scenario. The recent installation of advanced seismic monitoring networks has revealed subtle patterns in Earth's crust that challenge traditional understanding of volcanic isolation. The International Volcanic Research Institute's data shows compelling evidence of synchronized volcanic activity across seemingly unconnected systems. The 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo demonstrated how volcanic disturbances can influence geological activity across significant distances. Similarly, the Katmai Nova Rupta eruption of 1912 revealed unexpected connections within volcanic networks that transformed scientific understanding of these relationships. Recent seismic imaging by the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network has uncovered a complex web of deep crustal faults and fractures extending through previously unmapped regions. These findings suggest the possibility of mechanical connections between volcanic systems that traditional monitoring methods might have overlooked. Each tremor from Mount St. Helens sends waves of data through these networks, triggering intense analysis at monitoring stations across the western United States. As monitoring equipment records these unsettling developments, a deeper examination of the cascade effect theory begins to reveal patterns that blur the line between coincidence and causation, forcing scientists to confront uncomfortable questions about the true nature of volcanic relationships. The cascade effect theory. In the relentless pursuit of understanding Earth's most powerful forces, the cascade effect theory has emerged as a focal point of intensive scientific scrutiny. Deep within the laboratories of the United States Geological Survey and Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, Researchers pore over historical data that might illuminate the mysterious relationships between seemingly independent volcanic systems. The theory, grounded in decades of global volcanic observation, suggests that major geological events could potentially trigger a sequence of eruptions across interconnected systems. The evidence emerges from the Earth's own violent history. Iceland's volcanic crisis of 1973 stands as a testament to this possibility, where a series of eruptions demonstrated the interconnected nature of subsurface magmatic systems. The Icelandic Meteorological Office's extensive documentation of these events provides crucial insights into how energy can transfer through Earth's crust. Modern seismic monitoring networks have unveiled patterns that both support and challenge this theory. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network's data reveals subtle yet significant correlations between volcanic activities across vast distances. When Mount Pinatubo awakened in 1991, seismometers recorded unusual patterns of activity in neighboring volcanic systems, suggesting a complex web of geological relationships that science is only beginning to understand. Yet the United States Geological Survey maintains a measured perspective. While historical data confirms the possibility of volcanic triggering across connected systems, the specific conditions required for such events remain poorly understood. The discovery of deep crustal fault networks has forced a reevaluation of traditional views about volcanic isolation, but also highlighted the complexity of these geological relationships. The cascade effect theory finds its strongest support in regions where volcanic systems share clear geological connections. The Katmai Novarupta eruption of 1912 demonstrated how energy could propagate through connected volcanic systems, leading to a sequence of events that transformed scientific understanding of volcanic relationships. However, the vast distance separating Mount St. Helens from Yellowstone presents a different scenario entirely. Advanced seismic imaging technology deployed by research institutions across the western United States continues to uncover new layers of complexity in these geological relationships. Each tremor, each subtle shift in volcanic activity adds another piece to this enormous scientific puzzle. As monitoring stations continue to gather data from both Mount St. Helens and Yellowstone, the scientific community turns its attention to the concrete evidence that could either validate these theoretical connections or provide reassurance about the true nature of these geological giants' relationship. The scientific reality, breaking down the evidence. In the heart of the American West, two of Earth's most formidable geological forces stand as monuments to our planet's raw power. The scientific reality of their relationship unfolds through layers of data, each piece of evidence carefully extracted from the Earth's own historical record. At Mount St. Helens, the United States Geological Survey's monitoring stations paint a picture of a restless giant. Seismometers record the mountain's every whisper, while gas analyzers track the chemical signatures that rise from its depths. The data tells a story of increasing unrest, a pattern of behavior that bears both similarities and crucial differences to the prelude of its catastrophic 1980 awakening. In contrast, Yellowstone's vast caldera system presents a different narrative entirely. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's extensive network of sensors reveals a massive magmatic system that operates on an entirely different scale. Where Mount St. Helens measures its magma chamber in cubic kilometers, Yellowstone's reservoir extends across hundreds of cubic kilometers of Earth's crust. Historical eruption data provides crucial context. The 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption released approximately 1 cubic kilometer of volcanic material. In stark comparison, Yellowstone's last major eruption, occurring 640,000 years ago, ejected enough material to blanket much of North America in ash. These numbers tell a story of two fundamentally different volcanic systems, operating on vastly different timescales and scales of magnitude. Current monitoring technology has revealed unprecedented details about both systems. Advanced INSAR satellite measurements track ground deformation across both regions with millimeter-scale precision. Gas emission data, collected by arrays of sophisticated sensors, provides real-time information about magmatic movements deep beneath the surface. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory reports that while the supervolcano's magma chamber remains active, only 5 to 15% exists in a molten state, a crucial detail that helps contextualize current risk assessments. Yet as scientists continue to analyze this growing mountain of data, the implications of their findings raise profound questions about our understanding of these geological titans and their potential interactions. Expert perspectives. In the somber halls of the United States Geological Survey's headquarters, decades of scientific data tell a story that challenges both public fear and scientific understanding. The USGS's comprehensive analysis of both volcanic systems presents a nuanced perspective that cuts through the fog of speculation and fear. The latest USGS findings paint a picture grounded in hard data rather than speculation. Their continuous monitoring of Yellowstone reveals a supervolcano system where only 5 to 15% of the magma chamber exists in a molten state. This crucial detail transforms our understanding of the immediate risk profile. The annual probability of a Yellowstone supereruption stands at a mere 0.00014%, a number that provides both context and comfort. International research collaborations have brought global perspectives to these local concerns. The International Association of Volcanology and Chemistry of the Earth's Interior's latest symposium findings echo the USGS's measured approach. Their analysis of volcanic systems worldwide, from Iceland's interconnected fissures to Italy's ancient volcanic networks, provides crucial context for understanding the relationship between Mount St. Helens and Yellowstone. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network's risk assessment matrices tell a compelling story of their own. Their data suggests that while Mount St. Helens remains an active and potentially dangerous volcano, its current behavior falls within previously observed patterns. The network's advanced monitoring systems can detect minute changes in both volcanic systems, providing unprecedented early warning capabilities that didn't exist during previous eruptions. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's long-term monitoring data reveals patterns that both reassure and caution. While the supervolcano shows no signs of imminent eruption, their research underscores the importance of continued vigilance. Their comprehensive risk assessment framework integrates multiple data streams: seismic activity, ground deformation, gas emissions, and thermal features, creating a four-dimensional picture of volcanic activity. Global volcanic observatories contribute valuable comparative data. Japan's Volcanic Alerts Network, drawing from their extensive experience with interconnected volcanic systems, provides crucial insights into how volcanic systems interact. Their research into magmatic triggering mechanisms helps contextualize the current situation in the American West. Implications and preparedness. Worst-case scenarios. In the shadow of potential volcanic awakening, scientists and emergency planners face the sobering task of preparing for scenarios that stretch the boundaries of modern disaster preparedness. The United States Geological Survey's comprehensive impact assessment paints a picture of devastation that would fundamentally reshape not just the American landscape, but potentially alter global climate patterns for years to come. In the most extreme scenario, a Yellowstone supereruption would create a catastrophic sequence of events unprecedented in human history. The initial blast would devastate an area spanning hundreds of square miles, instantly transforming the iconic landscapes of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho into an unrecognizable wasteland. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's modeling suggests that pyroclastic flows, superheated clouds of gas, ash, and rock would race across the terrain at hundreds of miles per hour, obliterating everything in their path. The atmospheric impact would prove equally devastating. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's climate models, volcanic ash would blanket cities as far as Chicago and Denver in darkness, while sulfur dioxide emissions would trigger a global cooling event. Agricultural regions across North America would face immediate crisis as crops fail under darkened skies and acid rain. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates that air quality across much of the continent would become hazardous, forcing mass evacuations from major population centers. Economic implications ripple outward like shockwaves from the eruption itself. The Federal Reserve's disaster impact studies suggest that the immediate economic damage could exceed $2 trillion, with long-term effects potentially triggering a global depression. Critical infrastructure, from power grids to transportation networks, would face unprecedented challenges. The Department of Agriculture projects that American food production could drop by 60% in the first year alone. International trade would grind to a halt as ash clouds shut down air travel across the Northern Hemisphere. The World Meteorological Organization's models predict that global temperatures could drop by several degrees Celsius, triggering crop failures and food shortages worldwide. Insurance companies' catastrophe models suggest losses that would dwarf any natural disaster in recorded history. The social fabric itself would face extraordinary strain. The Federal Emergency Management Agency's planning documents outline the challenges of managing what could become the largest mass migration in American history. Healthcare systems, already tested by previous crises, would face overwhelming demand as respiratory illnesses spike in ash-affected regions. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warns of potential public health emergencies as displaced populations cluster in emergency shelters. Even Mount St. Helens' more modest potential eruption presents serious regional challenges. The Pacific Northwest Economic Region estimates billions in potential economic disruption from ashfall and evacuation zones. The Washington State Emergency Management Division's projections show potential disruptions to Seattle's port operations, threatening supply chains across the western United States. Yet within these dire scenarios lie seeds of hope, as emergency planners and scientific institutions work tirelessly to develop comprehensive preparedness strategies that could mean the difference between chaos and coordinated response in the face of nature's ultimate test. Reality check. Beyond the shadows of worst-case scenarios lies a landscape illuminated by scientific understanding and technological achievement. Through the lens of modern monitoring systems and decades of research, a clearer picture emerges, one that balances legitimate concern with factual reassurance. The United States Geological Survey's current assessment cuts through apocalyptic speculation with hard data. While both Mount St. Helens and Yellowstone remain active volcanic systems, their behaviors fall well within understood parameters. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's continuous monitoring reveals a supervolcano system where the probability of a catastrophic eruption remains vanishingly small, 0.00014% annually. This number, far from abstract, represents thousands of hours of scientific observation and analysis. Modern monitoring capabilities have transformed our understanding of these geological giants. A network of over 200 seismic stations blankets Yellowstone's caldera, each one streaming real-time data to monitoring centers. Ground deformation sensors track surface movements with millimeter precision, while gas sampling stations analyze the chemical signatures of every volcanic breath. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network maintains an equally impressive array of instruments around Mount St. Helens, creating an early warning system unimaginable during previous eruptions. The National Weather Service's volcanic ash tracking systems stand ready to model and track potential ash dispersal patterns, while the Federal Aviation Administration maintains detailed protocols for protecting air traffic. These systems, tested and refined through smaller eruptions worldwide, represent humanity's growing capability to coexist with Earth's most powerful forces. Public safety measures have evolved significantly since Mount St. Helens' 1980 eruption. The Federal Emergency Management Agency's volcanic response protocols integrate lessons learned from decades of disaster management. Local communities within potential impact zones participate in regular evacuation drills, while emergency services maintain constantly updated response plans. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has developed comprehensive public health protocols specifically tailored to volcanic emergencies. International collaboration strengthens these protective measures. The World Organization of Volcano Observatories shares real-time monitoring data across borders, while the International Civil Aviation Organization maintains global standards for aviation safety during volcanic events. This network of expertise and technology creates multiple layers of protection between populations and potential volcanic threats. As we stand at the intersection of scientific understanding and public safety, the reality becomes clear. While the power of these geological titans demands respect, humanity's ability to monitor, understand, and respond to their threats has never been stronger. As Mount St. Helens and Yellowstone continue their ancient dance beneath Earth's surface, we find ourselves not at the edge of catastrophe, but at the frontier of understanding. Through advanced monitoring systems and international collaboration, humanity stands better equipped than ever to face these geological challenges. Yet vigilance remains our greatest ally. Stay informed, support geological research, and remember, in the realm of volcanoes, knowledge truly is power.